about to go downtown.
Downtown Kay.
Downtown. You about to go downtown.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night, and welcome to another week's episode of Downtown World Podcast. Don't waste no time with negativity. Now, today, you all know I'm always blabbering about NFTs and Web3 and all this stuff. And you're like, all right, Kay, we get it. But today we have Bryson Williams, okay? Hood nerd and I want to say art extraordinaire with us today in the building. And you really do your thing. And I'm really excited that you agreed to have this conversation with me today because one, you're Black. So happy Black History Month, everybody. And two, your work speaks for itself. It's definitely quality over quantity. I have so many things to ask you about it. And welcome, Bryson.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me. This is super dope.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's get into it. I'm excited to talk about art and everything around it.
Dope. So I'll start off heavy, well, not so heavy, but a traditional question that we ask all of our guests here is, as I said, the acronym is don't waste no time with negativity. And we've all faced things like that. But I'd love to know a time, Bryson, where it was definitely negative, no hands down, and you found a way not to waste any time with negativity.
Ooh, that's a good question. So a situation where negativity was ensuing, and
most definitely you didn't, despite how easy it would have been, but
right. Well, like we were talking before you started recording, I was telling Kay, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just telling Kay about how I quit my job to become a full-time artist, and the story behind that. And essentially, the short of it is, the work environment was toxic. The boss was kind of like the stereotypical, like, weaselly, spineless, kind of really awkward, slightly racist, and it just makes other people uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. He would talk over people, and he was very, he would ask for feedback, and when you give feedback, he'd get really offended, and it's like, oh, whoa. The pay wasn't good. I wasn't getting paid what I deserved. I was a 10X performer getting paid 1X.
Oh, wow.
And there was no opportunity for growth. The company was super small, so and then the people that I was working with said they hadn't even received a raise in the last year. And so no raises. I already had the highest position I could as lead creative, so I couldn't get promoted. And it was just a bad situation. I wasn't happy. It was starting to take a toll on my personal life. I wasn't fit. I was eating bad, all that kind of stuff. Cause I was just it was just whatever. And so it just came to a point where, funny enough, on February 1st, the first day of Black History Month, that was on purpose, by the way, I put in my 2 weeks notice. That was a year ago. And today's the 3rd.
February 3rd, so 2 days. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so 2 days ago, it was a year and 2 days ago that I finally quit. And it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I've been the least stressed I've ever been. No high anxiety, no depression, none of that kind of stuff. It's just been almost blissful, honestly.
That is amazing. And I know so many people at home, either they've made that transition or thinking about it. And just hearing you share that story probably just gave them, some words or encouragement that we may all need to hear at times. And I'm proud of you for that, because I remember when I wasn't at my job anymore and it felt like telling my family, it was like, you're crazy. Like, how could you not work here? Especially coming from a Jamaican traditional background. It's like, you get a job, you stay at that job, you don't leave, so that is huge. What are maybe some of the hurdles that you're okay with sharing that you faced since then, like initially when leaving your job and deciding to go full throttle in your art?
Oh man, hurdles. The biggest hurdle, honestly, and this is going to sound kind of existential, but the biggest hurdle is yourself, like your own kind of thought process. Because there's really nothing this is going to sound weird, but it's not really even hard being we've been lied to. I'll say that. It's not hard to be a freelancer. It's not hard to go out on your own. what's hard is leaving the stable 9 to 5. You got that check coming every 2 weeks. You know what's going to happen. You know what you got to do every morning. You know when you're going to get up. You know when work is over. It's that structure. Some people need that structure. Being freelance and being on your own isn't for everybody. Some people need that. But I just realized I was one of those people who, like, I felt constrained under it. I didn't feel liberated under it. So for me, it was really just getting over the mental barriers of, how am I ever gonna make enough money off of art? It's oversaturated. There's not enough money in it. Oh, I don't have enough years of experience. Oh, this, oh, that. I don't have time. Like, all that crap. It's all crap. Like, it's all BS. Just
1,000.
People. There's so many people out there that are willing to pay you good money for what you create or what you do or whatever service you provide. It's just a matter of either figuring out where they're at and finding them, and then creating what it is they need and saying, yo, I got this, or putting yourself out there so that they can find you and be like, yo, you got what I need. Really the only hurdles would be like kind of the logistical stuff, the admin of it. Like, you got to make sure you keep track of your clients and documentation, and, you get a lawyer if you need one for certain projects. You're going to be signing NDAs. You're going to be signing artist release statements and stuff. There's going to be copyright stuff involved. Definitely do your reading up on copyright, because that can screw you badly as an artist. You don't want to be the guys who made Superman who died broke. You don't want to be that person. You want to be what's his name? Ed Hardy. You want to be what's the girl who made the colorful children's books? Lisa Frank. Like, you want to be that person. You want to get mad royalties off of the things that
1,000%.
That should be the ultimate goal for any creative person. Somebody reaches out to you and says, hey, we would love to put your work on X. And they're like, we'll pay you for the rest of your life as long as it's selling. Yeah. That's what you really want.
1,000.
So you have freedom to do whatever you really want to do. Nobody really wants to do what they're told to do and work for somebody and take orders. Like, in your core of your being, you want to do what you want to do. But look, we're in society. You got to pay bills.
Exactly.
You got to save money. You want to invest. You got to do all this stuff. And you need money to do that. So
exactly.
I think money, maybe that's the hurdle right there, is money. Getting over like the intimidation of money. Because that's one. Artists, creative people are so misinformed when it comes to money. So the advice that even our teachers gave us in art school, when we were preparing
totally off.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Like, and I know you wanted to talk about pricing and all of that. That's something that I'm adamantly passionate about, because I believe artists, we were talking about,
y'all need to be paid.
You need to be getting paid for your services.
Straight up.
For sure. But yeah, we can definitely get into that. But yeah, as far as money, how to handle your money, how to price your work, horrible advice. Even the stuff you look up on Google is terrible. It's all terrible. It'll keep you.
Bryson, here at Downtown World, we say eat fruit and mind your business. And you are giving a lot of fruit right now, because especially for artists, we're on the playground of social media where you're seeing people's art being posted, reposted. It's a digital space where if you don't have all your ducks in a row, you can be taken advantage of, it happens all the time. So
someone started selling it on weed trays. Like, they took like 5-6 of my artworks and like started selling them on they sell like weed trays, and like they stole the videos and everything. Like the animations I made for the promotion and everything. What? They don't exist anymore, obviously.
How did that, if you don't mind me asking, how did that pan out with what you can say about it?
I can, it's water under the bridge now. I wasn't even upset about it. I was actually entertained, because I was like, hey, they enjoy my work enough.
Yeah, like, people are fucking with me.
I was really nice about it. I was like, hey, these people, they're selling weed trays. They're super dope. Unfortunately, though, they didn't ask me to put my artwork on it. So I obviously can't let this go unchecked. Their page is gone. My fan base straight, like, they cut all of that out. Like, they don't exist anymore. And also, I put in like a proper like copyright infringement claim, which Instagram handled that. So it wasn't any like petty stuff. It was just like, like,
you're handling your business.
Just handling my business. That's all. Protecting my assets.
1,000%. If you could say, who or where do you feel like help to give you the education as to how to protect your assets as an artist properly. If you can share that for other artists or people that may be listening within the space and they're like, I don't know where to start. I don't know who to tell first that this person is taking my things, you know?
Right. Yeah, definitely anything regarding copyright and law, just do the research.
Exactly.
Do the research. You can't skip that. You need to understand the difference between open license, you know, all that kind of stuff. You need to know that. It's not that much to know. It's really pretty basic, but if you're not aware of it, like one thing that I wasn't privy to when I first started freelancing was creating artwork for people to sell on merch. Like you got to charge more for that because you don't own the copyrights to that artwork. I don't care who the project's for, what you sign, unless you sign like an art release statement saying that they own all the complete rights to it. Your hands are free. You still own the rights to that work. And if you're not going to get royalties off of it, which more often than not, you're not, you should at least be charging a pretty penny for it.
Exactly.
You can't be charging them $45, $25 commission prices you'd be charging. And they turn around, they put on a t-shirt and they make $5,000 off of it, selling it as a t-shirt design. So be careful about that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, just do your research. As far as like just general like understanding like how to traverse life as a creative, a large part of it is figuring it out on your own. Another part of it is I think mentors are very helpful. Yes. I've had some fantastic mentors.
Yes.
My first mentor was like in 7th grade. He like taught me how to draw and stuff, which that childhood is a whole nother thing because childhood is plays a huge part.
Sacred. Yeah.
He basically is the reason why I can draw really fast. He taught me how to draw time constraint. It had to be iterative. So like draw multiple editions of a thing, which helped a lot when I started working with animation and those kind of studios. And he also just taught me about like copyright. Like, you know, you always want to keep a copy of your artwork for yourself. You want to, you know, always keep timestamps of when you made the artwork and proof of it. Poor man's copyright, if you have to like mail a copy of it to yourself with the timestamp, at least you have it. So if someone sues you and say, hey, I made that first, it's like, actually I have the mail thing that says I got it, you know, February 3rd, 2022, and you talking about some, you know, March 24th. Like,
gotta have your receipts. Yep.
You're a month late. So there you go. Also, my guardian angel, I always say, Carl Settles. He's the founder of this nonprofit organization here in Austin called E4 Youth. I will shill for them till the day I die because they are one of the greatest. There needs to be a program like E4 Youth in every city. They're basically a program that provides training, internship opportunities, and mentorship for basically BIPOC, mostly Black people and women, Black people of color. And they've got connections with like Google here, the top ad agencies. They do summer internships, semester internships. They train kids on how to do coding, VR, AR.
We need all that.
Musicians, actors. It's all encompassing. If you're in acting, photography, videography, they've put people in all kinds of agencies all over the place. They helped me get my job. I mean, it's and you get paid for it too. It's all paid. None of it's free. You get paid for it all. So it's like, oh my goodness. We
have to champion people like that. Yep.
Yeah, he was the guy. One of my, you know, Carl, I can't say enough about him, but one significant thing that I got from him is when I got my first big project. It was with the United Nations. Who I just finished that project with them. It literally lasted a year. And I told him because it was like some big money. It was, well, to me, it was big money. It was
of course, United Nations. Hell yeah.
It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 figures. It was a 5-figure salary thing for the project. And I said, yo, I got 5 figures. And the first thing he said was like, that's cool, but what about $100,000 project? What about them $250,000 projects, the $40 million projects? He was like, I'm not saying don't be proud of what you got, but don't think that that's as big as you can go.
Exactly.
And I understood immediately, like, I got to think bigger. Like, even though I was ecstatic about it, got to think bigger. And that mindset is what's carried me, because when I told my friends I was quitting my job, for example, they're like, no, you got to stay at the job for at least a year. You know, you can't leave a job unless you've been there for a year because, you know, you're being your resume and blah, blah, blah.
Projecting their fears.
I don't need to live where I'm going. Like,
yeah.
And no, first of all, who said that you got to be at a job for a year? Like that's BS. That's
that's
like
when you're planning to,
be in the corporate world of your whole
exactly,
life. 4
exactly,
years in, get that, that watch and that handshake.
exactly.
But, that's not where I was going. And I was like, bro, if you get a job and it's great, and then a place you applied to that you would have rather have gone to says, yo, we're interested, leave. I don't care if you're there for a day. I would leave. I'm going straight to the better opportunity. Why limit yourself? Because you want to show that you're loyal to what? You're loyal to lesser?
I learned that lesson because early on, I was telling you, I used to work a law firm years ago. Before I started there, a chiropractic office had hired me, and I was there, and like not even 2 weeks into the job, the law firm called me, and I straight up told them, I'm like, yo, if you had daughters, you wouldn't tell them to stay here. You tell them to go. But for whatever reason, not making it a racial thing, I feel like they also project that a lot on Black people. So when we come into corporate spaces or spaces at all, knowing our value, it seems to still be quite a shocker to people. So it's very important, I feel, that we continue to speak to each other, have these conversations so that we can know this is how I can go into the room. I don't have to necessarily take what this person gives. I can aim higher for that 6-figure project, even though I have the 5-figure one. So you're definitely giving that fruit.
Exactly.
So you did mention, sorry, Bryson?
That's a big thing right there, is like and that's why I'm generally not a fan of like labor, like just like, I'm not a fan of jobs. Like the idea of an occupation. I don't mind, like, I'm not saying no one should work. Because again, some people, they thrive in that environment, that structure. But I don't think anyone should have to have a job. Like, if you don't have a job, you're worth nothing. You have to be an employee somewhere.
Right.
Like, what? The problem I have with the job is you're putting yourself in the position of no power. You have no power when you come into a job. You have to dress a certain way. You have to talk a certain way. You have to speak a certain way. You have to write your resume a certain way. You have to answer questions a certain way. You have to negotiate your salary a certain way. You got to talk to your coworkers a certain way. You have to sit in meetings a certain way. It's like, you have to be
so daunting. Yeah.
And if you're Black, you also got to be the impromptu damn diversity and inclusion hire, because if you're the only Black person in there, best believe you're gonna be in charge of diversity and inclusion, whether you're getting paid extra for it or not. So, and that's another thing Black people should be wary of. Do not be pigeonholed into being the diversity person who has to come up with, like, this year's
workplace activities.
Yeah, this workplace activity, this month's Black History social campaign. What is my ideas? No, like that's garbage. Like, don't be that. Get paid extra for it if you do.
Straight.
You weren't hired for that. You were hired to be X. You were not hired to be a racial, person. So I just don't like not being in the position of power. Even if you're just a freelancer, you still have a position of power, because typically they came to you and they negotiate your pricing, because you're a freelancer. You're not an employee. You're cheaper whether they pay you $100,000 or not, because let's say they paying an employee $60,000 a year. And plus upkeep and keeping that employee happy, and quarterly checks and all that crap.
Yeah.
Time off, keeping up with their time off and their hours. You pay a freelancer, why can't you get paid $30,000 for a 6-month project?
Exactly.
That's 50% of what they pay their regular employee.
Exactly.
For 6 months. So why not? But most people don't think about it like that. They think, oh, I gotta have 10 years of experience in the industry with a proven track record of, 10x performance of, like, top Fortune 500. Like, you don't need that.
Meanwhile, their kid that doesn't know nothing wazzes in and gets the corner office. So
like, honestly, 6 months in anything, you'll figure it out.
Exactly.
You do anything for 6 months, you pretty much got it. Everything else is details.
I wanted to dial it back a bit with you and just get into your start for your love of art. I know you mentioned it earlier, but I really wanted to know where that stemmed from for you and where that started from. I remember being in class and there was that little S that I learned how to draw, and then I couldn't stop drawing it in all my notebooks. You're way more advanced than me, but
why is that such a universal thing? I never even drew the S. Like, I never even.
You never did the S? Oh man.
I've seen it everywhere, but I never tried like drawing it. I'm just like, why?
For
I mean,
people like me that can't draw, I felt accomplished.
Okay.
Okay, Bryson?
like, were you like one of the kids you loved drawing like the stick figures, like the little stick figures?
Because that's all I could do.
That was the era right there, the stick figure era. No, but I mean, for me, it was just like typical kind of artist story. I started drawing it ever since I could hold a pencil. My mom, I really have to give her credit because as a little kid, I would basically take those 70-page spiral notebooks and I would draw a line in between halfway and I would put an illustration on the top and I would write a story at the bottom of it. And I would like write stories. I would like fill the book up with just different stories. It'd usually be like adventure stories and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was reading like graphic novels basically.
Legit.
And my mom used to keep those things. I don't think she has them anymore, but
Shout out to moms.
those are like my early sketchbooks. And when I was in 7th grade, I had a second big surge of creativity because I met my mentor, Mr. Malik, and I joined the art club and I would draw. So I would spend 10 hours drawing. Like on the weekend, I wouldn't do nothing but draw. And I created so much art, tons of it, and I threw it all in the trash. And then my mom fished it out. I threw it all in the trash, like I want to say in high school. My mom fished it all out of the trash, put it all in a trash bag and said, "This is my art now." And so now she technically owns all that art. I have it in my possession.
She straight said, "This is."
I threw it in the trash, so she owns it now.
Yeah.
But she was like, "Why would you don't throw away any of your artwork?" Yeah. And like I took that as a lesson, like don't throw away any artwork. And so
that's beautiful.
I was lucky enough to have a mom that like valued my art. You know, she would put it on the fridge and that kind of crap. And, you know, then later on she'll like throw it under the sink. She like, I have some clay stuff that I made for her that she like under her sink, but she just like, she keeps it though.
She does. Yeah.
She does value me as an artist. And she did have that kind of like, oh, you sure you don't want to, you know, doctor, lawyer, astronaut, president, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because you know, black people will try to get you on.
You know, all the time. Yeah.
Are you sure you don't want to major in business or something? My uncles would give me that. I heard all of that from my family. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until I started actually making money from my art and like getting to a point to where, because I was still staying with my mom after I graduated, I was paying the bills. And so she was like, oh, I believe in it now because you can pay bills now.
That's the point when they finally start believing. Yeah.
Yeah. Once you start making some money, okay, now I believe in you. You got to make the money first.
Right.
But yeah, so and now she's a big proponent of my business, my art business. She always asks how things are going and stuff. So, you know, if you're black parents, for all people out there with parents that are hassling them, you got to make some money first, and they'll stop hassling you so much. So you got to have proof of concept with black folks.
Right? Oh my gosh, you can't just tell them stuff has been popping out here. They need to see the house, see the new car, see the.
You got to be signed before I accept that you're a rapper. Like you got to have a label going before I accept.
Right.
Pull up in a Ferrari, then I'll accept that you're a rapper.
I really do love that your mother played such an intricate part, because when you think about so many people that are younger, or, you know, the families that they were raised with, they would be like, what are you doing? Snatch that away or grow it away. So it's very important, like you said, for parents to not take away what they see their child like naturally invested in, but kind of like give it some attention and give it some love and see how that goes for your child, because they're not going to be the exact same person as you. You know, you have to respect that you're more of here as a guide to their experience here on life and not like their drill sergeant.
I could not agree more. That's what my brother's doing with his daughters. They want to be like their uncle. They want to be artists. And
beautiful.
I'm like, you know what to do. Like you get them some sketchbooks.
Yeah.
Pencils, get that big old thing with all different pencils and markers and pastels and stuff. Get them that stuff. Like let them download art. Like I have a niece, she edits, she photoshops on her iPad, and she's like 5. Like I'm a better editor than you, Uncle Bryson. It's like, no, you're not. But that's so dope to me. Like
it is.
I couldn't do that when I was. They're gonna be running circles around me as creatives if they keep it up.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna be able to touch them with a 10-foot pole as creatives if they keep up doing what they're doing, because what I did was I would go through phases where I'm like, oh, I'm done with art. I want to be a nurse. Oh, I'm done with art. I want to join the military. Or I'm done with art. I'm going to do this. And then it just kind of got to a point where I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. Like, this is my thing. This is the only thing I consistently come back to. I've done a lot of creative stuff. I'm into a lot of creative things. I to your point about giving your kids a creative outlet and letting them like build on that. Totally agree. If you see they're into something, push them further into it. Don't pull them out of it.
1000.
They're drawn to that. But yeah, like it just got to a point where I'm like, okay. And I actually sat down and told my family this at the dinner table. I think it was at my one of my graduations. And uncles and aunts were all there. And my uncle brought up that question, like, yo, I told him I was majoring in art.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, you sure you don't want to minor in business or something? He gave me that side eye. He was like,
Right.
My family, I sat there and I said, look, if I'm going to do something for the rest of my life,
It has to be
something that I love.
Facts.
Left it at that.
Yeah.
And they respected it. And that's what I'm doing. And I don't regret it.
I truly do love that. And I'm happy that, you had that supportive network around you, whether they realize it or not, because I definitely have learned to fuel negative into the energy I need to keep going for my craft. So either way, I'm getting it, finding a way to juice it out and make it what I need to keep going.
I mean, negativity, positivity, it's all the same thing. It's energy. It's all
Exactly. So I want to know, you had an interesting sentence kind of as to the type of art you do. Correct me if I'm wrong. For one of the projects you did where it was like hip hop and Christian mythology.
Oh,
the whole love. Like, I love your art, period, but like so dope. Of course,
Thank you.
Virgin, the Virgin Keisha, all those, like, they're so the pimp,
Saint Diesel.
Oh man, they're also fire. Like I love
the project.
Like what's going on up there with you, Where did that inspiration come from? Being someone that grew up in the church and also like has stepped out of the church to be like, all right, y'all, this don't mean I don't love church no more. I just like
We're talking about angels in particular, or just like my art in general?
Well, we can start with
Hood Angels.
That theme, and because you have like so many collections, I don't really want to like graze over it and just be like your art.
Right. Yes. So that's actually this is a good tie into NFTs.
Yeah.
Obviously,
yeah.
It's an NFT project. It's a collection of 9 unique illustrations that are, like you said, themed with the hood and Christian mythology.
Yeah.
And, I posted it on OpenSea, and it sold out. Everyone who bought one, they got a actual print of the artwork. They got a sticker pack with all the art as a stickers. They got 9 stickers. They got a T-shirt with the artwork that they bought. Super dope. And so I came up with the idea. It actually stemmed from an original idea I had, because you weren't around then, but Hood Angels actually was something else. It wasn't Hood Angels. It was just like, I think it was just like Black Angels or something. And it was just regular angels, but like black. And it was like more accurate to like Christian mythology. So it was like looking, multi-eyed, kind of weird stuff. But
now I feel like you got it. You got what I feel like I was seeing at church.
And the traction wasn't there from the first 2 that I post. The first one did okay, and the second one didn't do so great at all. And I just sat there and I was like, okay, what's wrong with this? Like, I'm not feeling this. The people aren't feeling it. Something's got to give. And I was just like, you know what? Forget it. Because I'll tell you right now, I'm ignorant as hell with my art. This is how I come up with ideas. I sit down, I'll just be thinking something. I might be smoking or something. And I'll just think of like the stupidest thing. And I'll be like, I have to draw it. I have to draw it right now. And I'll go get my iPad and I'll just draw it, or I'll sketch it.
Yeah.
Those usually always blow up. And with Hood Angels, I was just like, or with the Angel Project, I was like, this just isn't fun. Like, it's not, I want it, like, let's get more ignorant. Like, let's have more fun with it. So then I'm like, let's just mix the hood, because that's been my theme.
Yeah.
Let's embrace it. And there's actually a story behind that, a very heartfelt story.
I would love to, yeah.
Ties into this in general, into the art in general.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, let's just get more real. Let's just get more fun, more expressive, more playful. Posted the God's Goon, got over 1,000 likes. I'm like, there we go. That's what the people want. They want something ignorant. And I went with it. It sold out. It did great. And Black folks, Black, I feel like when you Black, you just, you're gonna have some Christian in you. Like,
Yep. Somewhere along the line, right?
Back in America, you're gonna have some Christian in you.
Straight.
So it's like you know, but I wanted to like make it Black American, like specifically. So that's how you got the God's Goon and the Virgin Keisha and the Bebe's Cherubs, kind of like a play on Bebe's Cherubs,
everything.
Bad little cherub angels playing with water guns, so that kind of thing. So
what inspired you to put that specific collection to a non-fungible token?
Okay, so with the NFT thing, I had done a couple NFT projects already. I had done one for, do you know who Chantel is? You're Jamaican.
Please refer.
She's from Barbados. She's a singer-songwriter. She was she got kind of popular while Rihanna got popular. And then Rihanna blew up.
I'm a face person, so probably if I look at the face, I'll know, but it's not ringing a bell right now. But yeah,
look her up. You'll probably know who she is. I mean, her payday was kind of earlier, kind of the early 2000s.
Okay.
So, but she's still active, and I did an album cover for her that she doubled as an NFT. And so she was like the first female R&B artist to make an NFT or something. She did like a little mini press.
I feel like I had seen that. Yep.
She did a little press release about it. It auctioned off for $15,000. That was super dope. And so that was my first NFT. And then the second one was for Ricky Williams, who's a two-time All-American Heisman Trophy winner. He's a legend in UT football. He played in the NFL for a little bit. Him and Earl Campbell, another UT legend, collaborated to create an NFT project commemorating the UT football stadium being renamed after them. Because I think as a result of like the whole George Floyd thing, UT kind of took a diversity inclusion initiative.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to kind of acknowledge like the Black players that made UT's football team what they are. Yeah. And so let's just rename the football stadium, who I believe was named after, don't quote me on this, either some kind of racist something.
Yeah.
KKK, something that ain't good.
Was not right. Yeah.
Let's change it to the Earl Williams Stadium, like Earl Campbell and Ricky Williams, two Black men. They renamed the stadium. It's super dope. And they made an NFT project, and they wanted to hire, they wanted one of the artists to create one of their NFTs to be a Black artist from Austin. I was the only one they could find. Wow. Again, going back to that scarcity thing. And I did it. And that project went well. You know, now Ricky Williams is like huge in NFTs. He's like big in the NFT space. And so that's kind of what got my feet wet. I started to kind of dig in the space a little bit, see that there's a lot of opportunity.
Yeah,
not a lot
there is.
People were taking advantage of it. Black people are starting to get into NFTs now, but at that time it was pretty much damn near non-existent. There's still some Black stuff that I want to do NFT related that hasn't been exploited at all that I won't mention here.
Yeah, no problem. I respect the privacy.
I got a little bit to myself. But yeah, I was like, I'm gonna make an NFT collection for myself. Start off with something small, 9-piece collection, sold out, did well, and I'm about to release another collection soon. So
no, I definitely I think I'm gonna be purchasing. I want the one My Girl on the Cloud. And
yeah.
I was like, it's just I have so many favorites. I'm like, I need to get my bag up for Bryson.
Yeah, well, I can
get it together.
I can tell you this for sure. Basically, what I'm going to be doing is releasing a collection, every month's collection. So each month, because I'm posting every day, so each month I'll take that collection, put them up as NFTs for people to be able to purchase, and then I'll also be able to get. I haven't decided on what I want to do. I think I want to have people to be able to get a poster of it, like something like
how you want it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So you have something tangible with it.
Exactly.
But I'm basically gonna, so everything you saw from January to February, like all those kind of pieces that I've posted, they're all gonna get posted on the OpenSea for people to buy. And I have a bunch of other super dopes, crazy ideas that I just know are gonna like break the internet. But they're literally such good ideas.
I'm so excited for you.
I can't even let anybody know about them because, except for close people, because they're so good and no one's done anything close to them already.
Mm-hmm.
I have plans. I want to do a gallery with the NFT art. I want to have like a merch sale with the gallery, like an artwork gallery that people can go through.
As you should.
Have sculptures. It's going to be huge. It's like,
well, let us know when it happens. Come down to Texas and like be a part of that experience.
I need to have a world tour. Go around Toronto. Go to East Coast.
Most definitely.
Hit California. You know, travel with it. Who knows where we can go with it? The sky's the limit. But
most definitely,
NFTs are definitely. If you're Black creative and you're, you're like a visual artist, definitely look into it. There's opportunity in it, and there's legitimate money in it. I mean, obviously not all about the money,
Yeah.
because you're gonna hurt yourself trying to get in there for just the money. You're gonna lose some money.
Yeah.
But if you're a creative person and you've got artwork that people love and you already have like a little bit of an audience, it ain't gotta be a lot of people. If you got 1,000 followers that love your work, make NFTs. I know I've seen people with 1,000 followers sell 50 Ethereum worth of artwork. So do not.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Don't matter. It has nothing to do with. You can have 100. I know. Okay, for another example, and this goes into the pricing thing. I know someone bigger than me, younger artist, young Black artist, like 18, 19 years old, like 50,000 followers on Instagram, huge. People love their art. About $25 commissions, $35 commissions. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Can you value yourself a bit more, please?
I sent them a DM. I was like, charge more. This is ridiculous. Do not sell yourself. But because they're young,
they don't know.
Oh, I can't charge $100 for this. Like, they don't see it. I'm just like, you gotta learn. They just gotta learn. Because I went through that too.
And that's why it's so important to have you and people like you in the space, because you're in the middle where you're still learning, but also you're able to give advice to those still coming up.
Yeah, no, it like, I see that a lot with young artists, and like you have an audience to leverage something, and you don't realize your value. You don't realize that you could
straight up.
And their art is dope too. So it's just like, I don't know.
I love your passion that you speak about. You could tell that you're serious about this, and it's refreshing. A couple of years ago, I met an artist here in Toronto, Andre Alexander, rest in peace. He
that sounds familiar.
He was hip hop art. I definitely got a piece from him, and we met. He was an artist, young black artist, and like all the time, even when I'm speaking to you, I'm just like, oh my gosh, Andre was still here. He would be like killing this, and he would do amazing pieces. I'll send you his page. They still have it active, but he would do amazing pieces. And it's so important that let me ask you this, how important is it? Because I feel like you found a good balance in between getting yourself into the digital space, right, with art, but still also maintaining that, I guess, tangible art aspect to it. But now we're in a place where it is VR and it is tangible art. So is that something you're kind of like mindful of, or like?
Yes. I'm a big proponent of tangible. I have a book collection. I have, all the art on my walls, art that I made, the frame. Like I gotta have it. I gotta see it. The screen ain't enough. Like it just isn't enough. Like,
agreed.
I'll say this. And like I said, for example, with the Hood Angel thing, like I had, you got a physical package, you got a t-shirt, poster, a sticker pack with the artwork.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in there should be something tangible connected to the things that you make, because people never forget that. Like,
they don't.
Artists underestimate how much a little piece of artwork on a wall can do. Like, people really appreciate art because they're gonna see it every time they come in that room. They're gonna look at it and the story's gonna come back. You're gonna come back to their mind. Behind how they bought it. If it was an NFT, how they met the artist.
It's a whole experience.
It's a whole experience, and you'll never forget it. But when it's just on the screen, it can get deleted. You can delete a page, you can close a website, it's gone forever. And if the blockchain NFTs, yeah, sure, it's more permanent, but like, you're just looking at it on the screen. You gotta open your laptop, charge your iPad, or have your phone to look at it. Like, it's not the same.
That's still me. To this day, I like to I need my pen and
I'm a list maker. You can add. I'm a list person. I make lists.
Shout out to all my list people out there.
Oh my God. I ain't even gonna get into that. But yeah, I make a lot of lists. I got a lot of paper. I got sticky notes, notebooks, pages, pens, all tangible. Gotta have that stuff. Yeah, for sure. That's big. That's you should never lose your tangibility as an artist. That's important.
Exactly.
There's something about the hand-eye coordination that comes with that it keeps you sharp. Like, I noticed that when I started sketching on paper again, my creativity went through the roof because I was like, it's just something about drawing directly on the iPad. It just, like, even with my paper like filter that makes it feel like the cover that makes it feel like paper, it's just not the same. You don't get that texture. You don't get that same feedback that you get from a pen on an actual piece of paper or in a sketchbook. And you get the look is different. Like all the work that I've been posting this year, the look is different from the stuff I've been doing because it comes from my sketchbook. It comes from the more lively stuff. So it's more expressive. And I've been enjoying the hell out of it because I sketch fast as hell. I can create 10 pages worth of artwork, you know, in one sitting and have 2 weeks worth of posts. But, you know, if I just go to the iPad, you know, it's very tedious and, you know, you're unlimited retries. You can erase and retry as many times you want.
It's not.
Yeah. It got so bad to where when I would draw a paper, I would like double tap the piece of paper to like erase. Like I would literally double tap the paper to erase. I was like, yeah, I had to get back on paper. Don't abandon digital. Digital is necessary.
It's necessary. Yeah.
Keep your sketchbooks, keep your pens and papers and your brushes and stuff.
I'm curious to know, Bryson, is there like an underlying beef between the artists that like only do it digital on their iPad versus like the artists that do it pen to paper or like, you know, straight directly to a canvas? Sorry?
Or like I was gonna say the painters, the people who still paint on like canvas. There's definitely two different kinds of artists. You've got the artists who paint and make oil or acrylic paintings. That's a different kind of.
Well, not even like that. Like what you do, right? Like for example, I bought an art piece when I went to Philly, like right a little bit before the pandemic started, before we even knew about it, right? And someone jokingly was like to me, "That ain't real art," because they did it on the iPad. But I was like, I love this piece. You know, so that's why I was kind of asking you, do you find that you're in the space? Is there like an underlying beef or like lack of respect with that? Or
see what you're saying. No, okay. You're speaking in general, like traditional versus digital, like that whole debate. I don't really think there's a debate. I think the debate is art with art buyers, people who buy art. It's like, you know, like the people who hate NFTs, like hate on, I'll just screenshot it, or you know that stupid thing. I'll just screenshot it. Now I own it. Look, I have a Bored Ape too. It's like, no, you don't get it. And then you have the people who, like my art teachers, like, no, if it's not on a canvas or a piece of paper or it's not print made, it's not real. Like, it doesn't. It basically doesn't exist because it's just pixels on the screen, which is true. Which is why I say there needs to be a tangible aspect to it. But I don't really have that. It's not a problem for me because, again, I attract what I want to attract. So I attract people who are into digital art, who also are willing to get it printed, and they're fine with that. Like, it doesn't have to be, you know, a canvas piece, like an oil can. That's a different thing. But what I find is a lot of painters that I know, Black painters, they're like, God, I wish I knew digital. Like, because if you learn how to paint digitally, digital painters are really the ones that are winning. Those are the ones that are winning. Because it's the same quality as a traditional painting, but you did it faster and you can mass reproduce it. So it's the same level of work, probably even better because you can zoom in and make it super specific and all that kind of stuff, make it super accurate. You know, obviously you will never replace a good old oil canvas. There's still going to be people like, I want a painting on my wall. But it's kind of a non-issue, really. It's a non-issue. I think everybody should know a little bit of both. You should know some traditional, you should know print, you should know paper, you should know canvas if you're a painter, but you should also know at least Photoshop or something to touch up your images if you're just a traditional person, or at least understand the obvious advantages of having a digital version of something that you can sell as prints. So, and that all kind of goes into the pricing thing, which I don't know. I kind of want to talk about that. Like pricing.
No, let's go into it. This is all about you today, so let's get into it. Let's get into the pricing.
Talk about pricing, because we were talking about. I don't know if you recorded.
We've been hitting on it, so let's just go full dive in, like, because that's very important.
Touch on how there's a huge misconception when it comes to pricing your work, and I think every method you look up on the internet is wrong. I think they're all wrong. I think there's really only one true foolproof way that works when it comes to pricing your work. And it goes like this. And this is how I did it. And this is what I told my friend who recently quit her job to become a full-time painter. Think about it like this. Okay, well, let's set the stage first. Okay, let's say you don't even have to be an artist. You could be just musician, photographer, videographer, actor, singer, dancer, whatever. You provide a service or something that people want. DJ. The first thing you're gonna do is, okay, I want to know how to price it. So you Google how to price blank. And what you're gonna get is a bunch of articles and blogs about pricing models and different formulas you can use for figuring out the optimal way for pricing your services. Hourly, set prices, you can do a package, you can do, calculate your years of experience and how much you spend on materials each month and like your upkeep and all that. And multiply it times whatever number. And I'm just like, that's so stupid. That's
Yeah.
None of that shit matters when it comes to pricing your work. Here's the first question you should ask when it comes to pricing your work. What kind of lifestyle do you want to live? And what's your goal with the artwork or whatever it is that you're doing? So just using me as an example. The first thing I said was, okay, how do I want to live? Like, what's my optimal living situation, my lifestyle? Because that's going to inform everything. You don't even need to go through all those hoops. You just start off there. So if you say, okay, for example, I want to live a life that has, whatever this and this, I want to be able to vacation on this and blah, 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 blah. You need $50,000 for it. Okay. $50,000 will cover your expenses and the things you want to do, travel, extracurricular, whatever kind of things you're into on the side, gym membership, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so now you know how much money you need. Then you take the $50,000 and you say, okay, here's what I do. I'm a DJ, I'm a painter, I'm a photographer. How do I make $50,000 a year? Okay, you break that down into your months and how much you would need to make per day. You can break it down into the hour if you want to.
Yeah.
I prefer to just keep it down to the month. I don't like to break it down further than that because then it gets weird.
Yeah.
If you just keep what you need to make per month, I think that's good enough. So,
yeah.
I don't know what that is. I think it's like 41,000 or something. Let's just say $4,000 a month. You need 4,000 a month. Boom, that answers your question. Now you can say, okay, let's say it's because the painting example is a really good one because painting, you got $10 paintings, you got $40 million paintings. So with her, I was like, okay, let's say you need $4,000. Are you going to make 4 $1,000 paintings? Are you going to make 8 $500 paintings? Maybe you may do a mix. You do a $1,000 painting, a couple $500 paintings, and a bunch of prints. Figure out what your personal model would be. Maybe you're really into like packaging and shipping and taking the stuff to the mailbox, so you want to get on Etsy. Maybe you're more hands-off like me and you want other people to handle it. So you partner with a company like TeePublic or Redbubble and you put it up and they sell it. Maybe you're you're very particular and you're you want to keep it very exclusive and you make one big $4,000 painting a month and one person buys it. Maybe you sell prints of it, but only one person can own that copy. You just got to sell one of them a month. And you put all your time and effort into finding someone who's going to buy that painting. It just depends on the lifestyle you want to live. But once you figure out that, everything else falls into place. But if you just kind of figure out a pricing model, what always happens is you always end up charging way less than what you should.
Yeah.
It's like, that's how people come up with that $25, $35, $45 crap with their services, the Fiverr thing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, my monthly Adobe subscription is $50 a month, and I spent, $800 on the iPad. So if I break that down, I could make that back. And
where I think that happened, Bryson? Not to cut you. I think that happened because then people that aren't too familiar with the space, don't really respect the space, or they're just inquiring about things. They come in and they're like, well, why are you charging me this? And a person is not always brave enough to be like, because this is what I charge. Right. Some people are nervous to just say that instead of, so then they start doing, well, this will cost this and this costs that, when it's like, No, you came to me just like we were speaking earlier. You
Yeah,
came
it's
to
just
me. This is what I charge.
Yeah, it's thinking small. That's all it is. It's just like you're thinking too little. Like most people, they start off like, I just want to make a little money on the side. Like they don't start off with, I want to make $100,000 a year as an artist. No one starts off with that. The few people, I started off with that. Most people, they start off with, I just want to make some money. I want to sell.
I just want to make some money.
I just want someone, I want to be able to sell something that's not a friend or a family member that asked for it.
Yeah.
Like I want a client who is willing to come to me and give me their money for something that I created. That could be $5. Like that's too small. You're not, and that goes back to what you said. You're not it's not respecting the space. You don't respect yourself. Like you don't respect what you provide. Like if you know what you're worth, as soon as you get it, what every artist needs is one nice big project. They need what I got was a Spotify. Someone who's huge.
Congratulations on that as well.
Just for some reason, they see you're like, you have the style we want. And I got to, and it's on my Instagram, like I got to be the first like sequence of animation on like their Spotify rap campaign that got saw by millions of people.
Yeah.
And once you get a project like that, you never really go back to the whole like, oh, I'll do it for 25, $35. You never go back to that because you realize your true worth. And even that, to some people, would be a lowball project. Oh, they should have paid you more. They should have paid you double for that. It's all relative, but you're much better off leaning towards the more aspirational goals than the just kind of settling for, oh, if I can just make $500 a month, I'll be happy with that. You know, and this is different for everybody's situation. Obviously, if you live somewhere where that's good money, if you're in a third world country, for example, that's dope. Get that 500. If you live in New York, you should not be sitting here talking about, I want to make $500 off of my art. What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
And also in the same sentence say, I want to be a full-time artist.
Exactly.
Like you're not in the mindset to be a full-time artist. You're in the mindset of being a part-time artist who does it for fun. But you don't have the mindset of, this is my livelihood.
Exactly.
Like, when I became a freelancer, I had to come to the realization that this isn't for fun anymore. This is my livelihood. So I don't take myself seriously, but I take what I do extremely seriously. And when it comes to pricing, and I've been a victim of this too, like being real nice and kind of scared of like, because so many people say no. Most people say no. They're
just not the right ones. Yeah.
It's a meme in the art space. Like when you tell the client your price and they ghost you, it's like, it's a part of the job, but they weren't for you. They were not the kind of person for your work because somebody's going to say yes. If 1 out of 100 say yes, let's go back to that $4,000 painting. Okay, 100 people said no, but one person said yes. Now you got $4,000.
No, I definitely had to learn that lesson.
Guess what? They're going to talk to other people like, yo, you should get one of these person's paintings.
Yeah.
Now it's easier to get. See, people, they think that it's just
the one.
It's like the monthly grind. It's like the reset. You have to do the same thing over again to get the same small result. No, it snowballs. Like the more rapport you get, the more reputation you get, the more work you put out, the easier it gets to make money, the easier it is to get clients. And it's not as hard to get, the $5,000 or the $4,000. It might get to a point where it's like, I sell so many $4,000 paintings. I need to start selling $10,000 paintings. They're selling too easily. Yeah. Like with my NFT collection, it's sold out. I'm like, I need to charge more. I need to charge double. It's sold out too easy. There, some of those NFTs that you said that you want, some of them, they're on sale right now for like $10,000 and stuff like that. Resale, because people are like,
they see the value.
Yeah, I mess around, sold it for $300. He like, oh, 10,000. Somebody gonna buy this. And funny enough, one of the people the guy who bought the God's Goon, the big one, the most popular one, his mentor hit him up and said, yo, I saw you got that God's Goon and your thing. I almost bought it from you. I didn't know it was you. You really need to bring the price up on that thing. And it was $10,000. And I'm like, ooh, no, it was $30,000. He had it on sale for $30,000. He was like, you need to up the price on that. I almost bought it off of you. I didn't know it was you. I almost bought it from you. When I found out it was you, I bought it. I'm like,
no, your art definitely has, because I won't lie, a lot of people, they want to NFT their shit and it's just like, you're not ready. You don't have the audience, you don't have the base. Like it's not conducive to what you're doing. What are your thoughts on that? Because I'm not trying to scare anyone away from their dreams, Bryson. I just like You know, if you're Susu with 100 followers and you're not posting anything, then you're like, I have an NFT. And then you're like, why isn't nobody like, just what are your thoughts on that?
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because I was Susu with 100 followers. Like, why the person with 100,000 followers selling their art, but I can't sell no art? Like,
Yeah.
what's them better than me? My art is just as good as theirs. That ugly attitude is just, you got to have skin in the game. It takes time. You just got to have skin in the game. There's just certain things you can't get around. And that's just having time in the game. Like, don't mistake that with years of experience. That's bullshit. You could be cold as hell and be 18 years old. It don't matter how old you are. When I started working, when I became the lead creative of that tech company, I was 23 years old. Like, I was 23. I just got out of college. Helped the company quadruple their social following, double their user base for their company, just from their marketing alone. People were hitting them up left and right, talking about, we love your artwork, we love the design, we love this and that, your website. I had no prior experience. You just have to be good at what you do. That's really all it comes down to. What I mean by your skin in the game is you need that compound interest to build up. That's what I meant by it snowballs. Like, you can't snowball if you just like roll it and then like pick it up and like don't let it roll.
Yeah.
That's what people do. You're like, all right, I'm gonna roll my snowball. You let it go, like, and you run and you pick it up. Because for whatever reason, it's like, no, just let it keep rolling. Keep doing it. Oh, but it's not big enough. You're not letting it roll. Let it grow. Like, I've been at a deficit for the past 3 months as far as my following. I haven't been gaining any followers. It wasn't until I started really buckling down, like, I'm going to post every day. Now I'm getting followers. Like, I'm growing more than I'm losing. Like, it used to be just kind of like,
because it's such short attention spans. Like, unfortunately, until you become a Drake or, you know, something like that, is you have to keep going. Like, so let me brag on you a bit, Bryson. So I definitely went through as much of your art as I could that I could see virtually, and I'm definitely in love with your style. It brought
favorite piece.
Well, I was telling you the one with the cloud and my girl in the thong, the G-string. Yeah, for some reason I love
G-string. What?
It was kind of like a thong. It's part of your NFT collection.
You're talking about the hoochie of Babylon.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about Cloud9.
That's because you're putting me on the spot because you have a lot that I love. I love how you draw women. But that's leading me to what I'm saying, right? So I have to brag on you a bit. What it did for me, you know, I notice sometimes when you see certain art or you smell certain things, it dials you back in a nostalgic way, you know? And for me, it was like bubble letters. Your artwork kind of gave me that vibe. And I just remembered sitting in classroom or like doing like book reports. So it's funny that you were telling me that story earlier when we were talking. And it was just like reminding of like when I attempted to do like bubble letters, not block letters. And it kind of has that vibe to it. More specifically, there's something about the way you do eyes. Like, I don't know if that's something you did on purpose, but that is something that also like really drew me into you, where it's like the eyes have an art of itself. You don't just draw it on there. It feels like it's looking in a direction, it's giving an expression. Is that something that you, just selfishly for me, I'm asking, is that something for you that you like really paid attention to, or it just comes out as you're creating?
Let's get into style and inspiration.
Yeah, let's do it.
That's a fun conversation. Okay, so I got to start off with the heartfelt story.
Yes.
Because it's the stage for all of this. So pretty much when I left high school and I was going into college, I kind of had this, because I'm from the hood. I'll be the first to admit it. Like,
straight, me too.
But I got into this mode where I was very ashamed of where I came from, and I was very like, I did everything in my power to like not let people know that that's where I was from, because it's like, you know, you don't want people to know you grew up in Section 8 housing.
That's real.
Stuff. You know, that's not glorious. And even when I got to college, even the other Black people, they'd be like, ghetto, like this kind of thing. Because like, I'm meeting Black people the first time that come from money, and I didn't see it. So it's like, oh, what do you mean you have a 4-bedroom house with 2-3 cars? And I didn't come from that. I never even lived in a house. So, and also just like being embarrassed of like my family and that kind of thing. So, and changing the way I dress. I started dressing differently. And for years, I suppressed pretty much all the stuff you see on my Instagram. I suppressed that. And it wasn't until my junior year of college when I was creating, have you been on my website?
Yes, I've been on your everything. Did you not hear me, Bryson?
Well, I didn't know if you like.
No, I'm not one of those interviewers that like be lying and hoping that you don't like go through like.
I'm just making sure you know what I'm talking about. The Condor animation.
Okay, that was part of the collections page, like how you had the Spotify.
It was my first project for my senior thesis.
Okay.
And it was an animation about like a Black vigilante character from the hood. And that was the first time I really just got like in college, I just like let it out. Like kind of, I'm gonna just play into what I'm interested in.
Be yourself.
Oh my God, it won awards. Like I presented it to my class and everyone was just like, I've never seen, like, can I get your number? I want to collab with you and all this stuff. This was in college. My teacher's like, we're gonna put this in the radio broadcast competition because my major was art, but my minor was mass comm and mass comm. So journalism and broadcasting, all that kind of stuff. Media, basically.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, that's why I used to be in advertising and all that. But anyway.
Yes.
So it went really well. And I got an A in it in my senior thesis. So that was first semester. And then the second semester, I was like, okay, I'm going to do the Landshire project, which is like the board game that I made.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know.
I want to get into it, but yes.
They don't know about that. That project, for a while, up until I made Oracle of the Hood, was like my magnum opus.
Okay.
And that project, like, I still have a copy of it at home.
I love the one with the gold. It's like the gold teak with the zipper, or is it a gold zipper?
Yeah. I'm gonna get to Oracle.
Yeah.
That one. And so it just, I slowly started to realize, like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm gonna just be proud of where I'm from. Like, this is dumb. And it was a mix of a bunch of things, like being tired of like just making stuff that other people want me to make. You know, my mentors at that point, I basically allowed myself to kind of be pushed wherever I was going. You should be an art director. I'm gonna do that. You should be I'm gonna do that now. And it's like I never did what I wanted to do.
Gotta quiet the noise. Yep.
And so I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just be me. I'm gonna just make what I want to make. I'm gonna post the kind of art that I'm interested in. And you know, people ask me all the time, like, who are your influences? Like, where did you get your style from? And like, how did you develop your style? And, you know, even the Spotify people, when they reached out, they were like, we love the way you do your eyes and your skin tones and like the way you just draw people. Yeah. It's different.
It's beautiful.
Like, don't get me down. And I love it. Everyone wants to just depending on that, like the time frame and like the kind of art I'm posting, I'll get different people saying like, oh, that reminds me of, like, for example, let's talk about Oracle of the Hood.
Yeah.
A lot of people, when they were buying it, which is an Oracle deck that I made, a lot of people, when they were reaching out, like, oh, I love it. Like, it reminds me of, I love how you reference these like different Black like movies and stuff. I'm like, what Black movies? I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, oh, you weren't like referencing. I'm like, no, I didn't look at anything. I was just
straight from
making them. And maybe it was through osmosis, but I didn't like watch Boys in the Hood or Friday. I grew up with that, but I didn't like.
But you have seen those movies. Yeah. Okay. We're just checking.
Like I said, I'm coaching, sis. But like, people will be like, "Oh, your art reminds me of like what I'm getting a lot of is like Bebe's Kids right now." And I'm
yeah.
I love Bebe's Kids. I probably haven't seen Bebe's Kids in like 10 years.
Forever, yeah.
But it's like we have so little. We have to attach each other to something we know because we can't really think of much. It's like as far as Black media, you got Bebe's Kids, the PJs. Proud Family, Afro Samurai, Boondocks,
yeah.
And then you got like, and Fat Albert. People forget about Fat Albert.
Yes.
Well, another thing that's funny because I kind of see my style more similar to Fat Albert than anything else that people.
I definitely can see that, like how they draw the sweater, exactly. The edges of the sweater. I could definitely see that. Yeah.
I've only seen the movie. Like I've never watched the cartoon. It's
okay.
Like it wasn't even on Boomerang. It's so old, but I saw the Fat Albert movie and I really like that, but so I'm aware of it. But when I look at my style, I'm like, oh wow, it's very similar to the Fat Albert style. I did grow up wearing like the Fat Albert like FUBU kind of, back in the early 2000s. I wore that. Yeah. I had my favorite jumpsuit. I had like a jersey with the Fat Albert on. So maybe there's a lot of osmosis in me, but I just tell people that my influences just come from life. They just come from,
Yeah.
I completely, and this is another thing, I completely removed like the whole idea of trying to get a style. Like that's a big thing with artists.
It could be such a block.
Trying to find their style. And this could be with anything, just trying to find their style and the way that they do it. And most people, when they start off, they're just copying their favorites. And that's what I did 4 years. I really didn't get mature into I still feel like I'm maturing into my style, but I didn't really discover it until maybe like a year and a half ago. Like very recently. But when it happens, because you just bloom. It's just like I'm as creative as I was when I was a little kid now.
That's amazing space to be in.
How do you come up with this stuff? I do have some rules. Like there's, some kind of ways that I go about things. Like everybody has their modus operandi. And for me, it's like, okay, my art's created in one of three main ways. Either a funny idea came up in my head while I was just sitting down BSing, and I'm just like, oh, that would be dope, and I like draw it. I'd be sketching in my sketchbook, and I would just look through and be like, that'd be a good post, and I posted that. Because the sketchbook is wild. It's like all kinds of crazy. There's some pages I can't even show. There's some crazy shit in there. It's nothing like X-rated, but it's just like
in Superbad. Like, have you seen Superbad?
Yeah. It's been years. I used to have Superbad on my PSP, like the little Superbad movie on my
I have a PSP. Oh my God.
I used to have it on my little Darth Vader white PSP.
Yes.
People don't know what I'm talking about. But it would be that, or I would literally just like, I would come up with a concept like for a series, and then that would like the Hood Angel, and then that would spur up a bunch of different ideas. But usually my inspiration, it just comes from life. I like to put an emphasis. Some of the rules, I don't draw like, I try to not do like celebrity or trendy art, like
pop culture, timeless art,
referencey art, fan art, that kind of thing. I stray away from that. I have nothing against it. I follow people that do it and do it really well, but I've just found that I want to tell my story, and I just want to make art that I want to make. And so no celebrities, no pop culture references, nothing that's trendy, because I don't want to age my art. If I'm going to age my art, I'm going to age it visually. I'm not going to age it project-wise. That's why I'm sure you've seen the Hood Olympics one. Well, when I created Hood Olympics, people were like, you got to make one with like the crate challenge. The crate challenge was big at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, no crate challenge. Because if I do the crate challenge,
people are going to
literally a month later, the whole series is aged. Yeah. It's like, oh, I remember the crate challenge. Now it's an old project.
Yeah.
Only timeless stuff, because you'll never know when it was made. It could have been made 40 years ago. It could be made 40 years from now. People will say that's still relevant. And so, no famous people, no pop culture references, because that's easy stuff.
Very smart.
It's an easy way to get followers. I could easily just be the person who just draws Proud Family art, or
that's why
I'm gonna draw number 5 from Kids Next Door the 100th time, or I'm gonna draw Nipsey Hussle or Tupac the 1,000,000th time, or like I could easily get into that. But
no, it's very important what you're saying. It's very important what you're saying, because even myself with podcasting, that is something that I do have to be mindful of. I want these episodes to be something that people can listen to 5, 10 years, however long from now. And it's not just dated, even though sometimes it is kind of infotainment, but it's timeless in the sense where you can still gain information from it, whatever space you are at in life. Yeah.
Right. It isn't, you're basically not making your art irrelevant. Like you're not putting an extra on your art. And so, and people love me for it. They're like, I really appreciate that you just draw normal Black people. Like,
yeah,
the normal everyday people. Like, I get it so many times. Like, I swear I know this person. I swear I've seen someone who looks like that.
It's just the elements. Like, you find a way to bring it all together.
Like, do you know these people? Where you get? And it's just natural. Like, it just comes from the head. It comes from life. You know, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm really adamant on not depending on inspiration, motivation. Like, I know that this is about motivation, but I will say that when it comes to inspiration and motivation, that's a very useful source of energy. It's a unreliable and inconsistent source of energy. If you rely on people motivating you and inspiring you, you're gonna get motivated, you're gonna get inspired, you're gonna go gung-ho and like, I'm gonna do it too. and you're gonna get burnt out after like 5 days. Because that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I would see, I like, oh, I'm gonna do like just like them, and I get inspired and I draw like them for like a week, and then I'm burned out.
Yeah.
And that's what you see. You see most people, they're like, oh, I'm just burnt out. I'm going through artist block. I don't believe artist block exists. I don't believe it exists. I think it's a ruse. I don't believe that there's an actual part of your brain that just like, I'm not creative anymore. I can't come up with anything. No, you can't come up with anything because you probably depend too much on outside sources, social media, movies, references, what's trending, what's going on, what these people are talking about, what movie you just saw, what's popular. But you never just sat and thought about like, what's interesting about my life and what I'm interested in, to where I don't even need to dig. I don't need, like I said, if I get the influence or the motivation, I act now because that's, I got it now and it's gonna go away. But I don't care how I feel. I don't care what's going on. I'm drawing. And it's like.
But it's a full circle moment, Bryson. You've been doing that from the beginning. So the fact that you can be within this space again.
I wasn't though. That's the thing. I wasn't.
Well,
I was.
When we were speaking, you had your book and you were drawing, your photos on top and your stories on the bottom. Like there's always kind of been something within you where that's where you drive.
The creativity was always there. Yeah, that's what. But I guess just in terms of like passion in general, like if you have a passion for something, don't lean on anybody but yourself, because that fire in you is enough. Like you like regular life is enough. You don't need, my marketing teacher, that's another kind of mentor I had, is a lady that named Dr. Fluker, who was my advertising professor. And she said one day, she's like, everybody has a story to tell. It's all about how you choose to tell it. And that stuck with me. And I'm like, how am I going to tell my story? Through art. That's how I'm going to tell. Some people it's through music. Some people it's through podcasting. Some people it's through business. Like maybe they're a consultant, or maybe they're a motivational speaker, but they're a writer. I've totally forgot about writers. There's all kinds of different ways to tell your story.
Multiple.
But if you tell it in a way that you're not really passionate about, or that it doesn't really like speak to you, you're gonna get burnt out. You're gonna get art block. You're gonna get writer's block. It's no wonder that people only get writer's block when it comes to writing an essay or a book or something that's in regard to other people. But when you're just journaling, there's no artist block. When you're just writing in your diary, there's no artist block.
Sometimes the words aren't even legible because you're just writing so hard.
It just comes out. Exactly.
I definitely, I know we're getting close to the end, but I want to dive into your game, Oracle of the Hood, because fly as fuck.
Oracle deck. It's not, everybody, I know everybody gets that confused. Everybody thinks it's a game. It's just an Oracle deck.
Okay. Sorry, I just titled that because that's how the website was set up. But please do correct me and clarify it for everyone. Sorry?
Yeah, are you talking about Landshire? Because that's the board game.
Yes. So I want to talk about your game. And I also want to talk, well, we did kind of talk about Oracle of the Hood, but you can dive into.
I can dive into both.
Okay. Yeah. Whichever you choose to first.
Well, since the card game was made, that was my senior exit thesis. So I'll go into that.
Okay.
So it was my senior exit project. I wanted something tangible.
That's a high note to go out on.
I was doing digital art. I was getting into digital art more. Those pieces were drawn handmade, like with ink in my sketchbook, but then I colored them digitally. And I'm big into board games. I love board games. I love card games.
What's your favorite board game?
My favorite board game, Monopoly.
Mix up and blender.
My favorite board game is Monopoly. My favorite card game is Uno for the same reason. Because I think that Uno and Monopoly are perfect games. And here's why they're perfect games. Uno is so perfect. The only flaw of the game is what? The people that play it. Yeah. That's how perfect Uno is.
It's so arguments.
Perfect. It's so perfect. We have to mess it up by giving it house rules. We cannot play the game. We can't play Monopoly by the rules. We have to ruin it because it's too perfect. It's like it's like a white sheet of paper.
Yeah.
You gotta fold it up. You gotta tear it up. You gotta draw something on it. That's how Uno is. It's like, it's just pure. There's no air in it. There's no, if you just read the rules, there's no room for interpretation. It's all there, but we have to mess it up to where the game is so good that we will argue with Uno themselves on their
rules.
That's how. So
Yep.
the motivation for creating Landshire, it's a kind of like a strategy game based on the hood, and like you're like taking over territories and stuff. It's super fun. I'm actually gonna release it one day as like a mobile game someday. That'd be dope.
Really dope.
Like you could play on the iOS store. That's like a big plan. But that was my senior project. All the pieces, all the cards, I framed those up, put them in the gallery. They're all in my house now. That's the art that I keep in my house. All
That's
those art.
fire.
My family loves them, which is funny because I'm like, I was worried about my mama seeing them because they're like, it's not shit that mamas would typically
Right,
work.
exactly.
I like the artwork on your wall. I'm like, Mom,
all right.
damn, I've been suppressing all this. I like it. Mama like it. Hey, I don't care who like it now. But so I did that. It did really well. People loved it. And that was the one after Condor. That was the kind of the second try at just making art that I want to make.
Yeah.
Oracle of the Hood. So that was my best project up until that point.
Before you move on to Oracle of the Hood, right? With your game, it's like, I definitely want to say more Black people need to be creating games. Shout outs to Derek Grace. Shout outs to you as well. But I do feel like there's an element to that. And just like we were saying, the space is kind of scarce and things. We need to definitely get into the game creation space.
I'm a big proponent of stuff like San Andreas.
Yes.
Of like Saints Row, another Black game. Like,
yes.
And I don't give a damn how violent they are. I don't care what negative thing they promote, because I would rather you make a game or a card game or a show or a cartoon or a series about the good, the bad, and the ugly than go out and do the good, the bad, and the ugly. I mean, do the good, but don't do the bad and ugly. Facts. So it's like, I'll give you a perfect example of this, right? I was really worried when I made Oracle of the Hood because I knew that there was going to be a lot of provocative stuff in there, like drug use and all that. Because Oracle of the Hood, not Oracle of the Suburbs. So
yeah.
I was like worried at what people were going to think about it when I posted it. Because the very first card, number 1, is the Fiend, and it's a dude smoking out of a crack pipe. That's the first one.
Yeah.
So I start off with a damn.
It's our realities, like.
It went over great. People were like, yes, and I was like, okay, I can be real, and I went through with it. But Oracle of the Hood was just like, I collect some cards. I have some tarot decks and stuff. I'm not really into it that much. I'm really more into the art of it, the collectible side of it, and just like the tangibility of cards. I do a little bit of reading. I do some readings here and there for fun, but I really just love the idea of creating a deck of cards that people use, because a lot of people use Oracle of the Hood regularly now with their own practices and stuff, and that's dope. But I just really wanted to make like a card, like an Oracle deck that just like, it was almost like just venting, because that was the first big project on my Instagram, and it was just me unleashing all the stuff like that I just want to express. I got pimps, I got hoes, I got guns, I got drugs, I got gangster shit. I have wholesome shit. I have like wholesome stuff in it, like little Black kids playing in the neighborhood. Like
that's the hood.
And it's just like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And, I'm actually going to re-release Oracle of the Hood one day. I keep saying I'm going to do it. It's like I'm going to do it again. But I am going to release it. I'm going to do it differently. It's going to be a second version of it that's like even better.
No, you definitely have such a light on you, Bryson, and I'm excited just for everything that's in store for you. For, nerd, you're a hood nerd. I'm just a nerd in general. But
that came from the hood nerd thing?
No.
I didn't make it up. That came from my brother.
I can see that.
Funny enough, I got the hood nerd title literally a year ago from around this time, because my brother was picking me and my girlfriend up from her place because we were stuck. We were stuck like in the ice storm. We couldn't get anywhere.
Cheers. And
he picked us up in his SUV, and we were, going. He was taking us to my place because I had electricity, because Texas had a big blackout. It was horrible. He was just like talking. He was like talking shit about me and stuff. He's yeah, Bryson, you're like a weird dichotomy. You're like a nerd, but you're hood too. Like a hood nerd. And I'm like, yeah, I'm putting that on my Instagram. That's perfect to describe me. A hood nerd. That's exactly what I am. I love the hood and I love Lord of the Rings. What are you gonna say? Hey, it is what it is.
I get called an Oreo cookie, so I like hood nerd way better.
Oh yeah, the whole Oreo thing. Like that's
hating ass cousins.
You like telling me that you're automatically a white person now.
Right? I just like different shit.
That's so middle school and elementary type stuff.
So what I do want to ask you, Bryson, is, you had the experience doing Twitter, you had the experience doing Instagram. I myself, because I'm in the media space, I do have to kind of be tit for tat everywhere, Snapchat, TikTok, all these places. In your space and your experience, where would you say you have gotten like the most business or most engagement that is like the most valuable for what you are doing?
Instagram, definitely. By far, not even close. Funny enough, Instagram. I was gonna say, funny enough, the most of the money I've gotten was from people outside of Instagram, but I don't know if that's exactly true. Because even a lot of the big clients that I found my Instagram page.
Yeah, it's like the new resume.
Here's the thing: it doesn't really matter. Like the platform, I was just talking about this today. Every app looks the same anyway. It's like they all look the same. They're all dark mode. Like they're all the same app. Like just pick one or two and focus on it. Like do not get, because like I said earlier, I was the person like, I don't get Instagram. I can't figure it out. I don't know what the posts are. It doesn't matter. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever works best for you and what you do. Because it makes no sense for me to be on TikTok. Like I'm an artist. I could make animation loops and post videos of that. Like how many of them shits would I have to post to get real traction on there? So
facts.
Instagram is the perfect medium for me. I'm a visual artist. It's a visual medium. Maybe Pinterest. Maybe I have a Pinterest, but I haven't really utilized it much. Twitter works too. Twitter's more kind of fast-paced kind of thing. But I think
Gary Vee tell it.
I think Instagram is more like, it's more evergreen. Like it stays there and it does, because tweets, they come and they go. Like you have to dig for somebody's tweets. Instagram is always there. It's front facing. You see it right when you land on the page, and you can just kind of go through the history. It's like your rap sheet. Oh, this is what they've been doing. Oh, they do giveaways. Oh, they did this series. Oh, that's cool. Oh, they do this. Hey, I happen to be looking for someone who can do that. Here's a DM. Like, so it just depends on what you do and the platform that you lean towards most. I would say generally you kind of want to focus on one though, because if you're on everything and you have to focus on everything, you're going to be a master of nothing. Yeah. So, and you're going to feel stretched thin. There's ways of doing that where, like, say for you, example, right? Like you do a podcast. Like,
I definitely have to repurpose my content all over.
Right. Yeah. Repurpose content. So it's like, okay, you got the podcast, but boom, you can chop it up into 1 minute, 30-second clips. Now you got Instagram and Twitter stuff. Exactly. You can post it on TikTok, chop it up. You can take the excerpt, post it as a blog if you have scripts or something like that, or if you transcribe interviews. There's all kinds of ways you can chop it up, but I would recommend chopping up rather than spreading thin. Like I gotta create content for all these different platforms. Like, figure out a way to create one piece of content that you can split between everything else.
Agreed. Agreed. So, Bryson, I'd love to know, what is one of like the most misconceived things about you that you'd want the world to know that isn't true?
Misconceived. What does the world think about me?
I think you're great. I think you're awesome.
I think I'm awesome too sometimes.
We're all human.
We're all human, I am human. Like, I mean, shit, they probably don't know I'm human. Most of my fans don't even know what I look like. I'm gonna post my face.
Thank you for that. Because I was like, I don't know if he's gonna say yes.
No, I will. I already have plans to post my face. And it's not even like a weird thing. It's not even like I'm being weird.
You're just focused on your art. It's not like,
This is not a personal page. So,
exactly.
But I will show my face. My fans will see my face. I do want to put my face more on my stuff because I do want people to know the guy behind the art. Because I think that there is, even if it's just for a little, like, even if it's just one face pick a month, at least they know that there's a guy behind it who's a person. Yeah. And they, the new followers get to see like, oh, this is a guy and he does like exist, and he's not just like somebody. He's not just one of these like white people who just make
Yep.
make black art. There's a lot of that some we don't talk about. There's a lot of white people posing as black people on the internet.
Yep.
Creating BIPOC content and profiting off the kind of, the trend of it. All I'm saying is some blonde white women in the UK pretending to be black guys.
Straight up.
I thought I was saying. But you'll see my face eventually. It's just like I want it to be big. I don't want to just be like, oh, here's a selfie. Like, I want it to be like, I already got a plan for how I'm going to reveal myself.
You want people to know that you're real.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're saying?
I want people to know that I'm real. But as far as like misconceptions, I think that I don't know if there's any misconceptions about me personally, like just in my personal life, because I'm the kind of person I'm me to everybody. I don't put on masks. I don't pretend to be different to my mom and then be different around my friends. I act the same way around my mom's friends.
1,000, me too.
And that makes my life so easy. I ain't gotta keep up with no kind of persona.
First time I got suspended for swearing, grade 3.
Wow, really? That's funny. That's why my friends can meet my friends.
Exactly.
Because they like the same person. See, when you got two different faces, a lot of people deal with this. You got two different faces. So when you combine them friends group, they don't see eye to eye because they got two different versions of you.
Exactly.
And I guarantee, depending on which friend group is the more dominant one, the other friend group's gonna be like, you acting different.
Exactly.
Like, oh, you acting different when you're around them. It's like, oh, no, you're being fake. That's what you're being. You're not being who you really are.
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't know what people don't know. I think people think that I'm like this. People, when you get successful, when you start to have a little success, people think that you just like woke up with it.
Yeah.
Like they don't see like the grind and all the years that went into it or the time that you put in. So they just think it just came out of, you just pulled out of your ass. Like, oh, here's 15,000 followers, just pulled it out. Like,
get that a lot. Yep.
Like, look, I've seen people go from 4,000 to 25,000 in a month. And I had to scratch tooth and nail just to get 1,000 followers. Like, it's just different for everybody. Yeah, I had to really grind for every follower I got. It's different for everybody. I would just say like, it took work for me too. It takes work for everybody. And even those people who grew up, they probably were posting a lot and then something, and then they stopped. Yeah. What happens is you kept posting and then you stopped, and you're like, why didn't I hit? And you were probably getting traction, but then you stopped. So just know that I'm human. I get tired. I get insecure about my page. I get insecure about my following. I'm not the biggest. I'm not the smartest. I don't make the most money. I'm not the most creative. I'm not the most talented. I'm normal as hell. I'm regular as fuck. Like I'm so normal. I mean, I'm passionate, but everybody's passionate about something. Like, even if it's nothing. Like, even if you're indifferent, it's like I don't have any passion. It's like, that's a passion. Because a lot of people we're human. We have addictive personalities. We all fall into things. 1,000%. So if your personality is, and I've met people like this where you're straight edge, you don't fall into anything, you don't take drugs, you don't drink, you don't do that. That's a personality. Like, that's a viewpoint. That's a way of living. You're passionate about that because, there's certain people you meet. It's like, oh, do you smoke or drink? It's like, no, I don't do that kind of stuff. And it's like, damn, bro, just ask.
Calm down. Yeah.
Like, you're passionate about this, but you act like you acting different. Yeah. People acting different about things, but everybody has a talent. Everybody has a passion. Everybody has something that they love to do when nobody's looking and when no one asks them to do it. That's usually the thing. That's true. If you talk all day, like I can talk, I love to talk. I know I could have been in the podcast space, but
you probably should do that still, Bryson.
I
create that space for other Black artists and just talk with them.
I may or may not have thought about creating a Black page where I talk about misconceptions about art and Black spaces. It might happen. Look, everything can't happen all at once. Only time will tell.
Only time will tell. Okay.
I have thought about it. I know you're gonna definitely do it, and I'm gonna tell you I definitely probably will. Yeah. But like, just know that this goes for anybody listening to any future interviews, anybody who ever gets interviewed, anybody who talks to anybody or has someone that they idolize or someone that they are like, oh, I just wish I could be like that. Everyone is flawed. Everyone is human. Everyone thinks they're a fuck up. No one thinks they're up there. Like if you ask anybody whether they have 10,000, 100,000 or 1,000 followers, they're like, I don't have enough. I'm not doing good enough. I'm lost. I don't know what I'm doing. Nobody knows what they're doing. Just
be yourself.
Be yourself, enjoy the process. Don't force anything. If it don't fit, don't force it. Like you'll make it. And here's another thing to the, person who has 100 followers and they're grind for whatever reason, they're grinding it out and they've got 100 followers and they're trying their best and they just can't get anything going for themselves. More often than not, it's usually because you're not doing something right, but there are cases, I can't sit here and deny the elephant in the room of some people just don't make it. Some people fail. Some people fall flat on their face and they don't get back up.
Yeah.
It's life. Like
it is. There's
nothing you can do about it. If I had failed horribly and went back to working, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah.
So know that anybody who's in the space that they're at, whether they're top of their class in their work industry or top in freelancing or being a self-made person or an entrepreneur or an investor, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Don't ever forget that it took time for them to get there. And they had to fuck up a lot. My fans do not know how many times I've sat down stressed, like, damn, how am I gonna pay this rent? Like,
I'm telling you.
They think I'm trying to get like you, nigga. I'm trying to get like I'm trying to get a job.
I am telling you, Bryson. Yeah.
I might need to go back to working. Like I've had a lot of moments like that.
Yeah.
Man, like this Instagram, I'm about to delete everything. Oh, I'm about to just go back to work. We all have those moments, and people think that we're invincible. We don't have emotions, and we don't fail, and we just like we're always up. No, sometimes I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to draw. I don't want to do something.
Oh, they're always coming for me. But aren't you? Don't waste no time with negativity. Yes, bitch. But I also experience negative shit, and it's hard.
It's not like we don't experience it. It's like, yes. So just know that it's not a straight line process. It's 2 steps forward, 10 steps back, 3 steps left, a climb up, a jump down, a roll. It's a somersault. Step on your right foot. Don't forget it. Like you're going to be all over the place, but you basically how it works is if you're going to pursue something that you're really passionate about and you don't really know how to go about it, you're like, oh, no one's really done it before. I don't know if it's possible. You basically have to jump into the soup. And when you jump into the soup, it's primordial, just like, and you're confused and you're flailing around. 1 or 2 things are going to happen. And you got to be prepared for both. Either A, you're going to sink and drown and you're going to be like, never mind, I'm made for this. Or you're going to flail like your life depends on it until you hit the surface and you're afloating, you're swimming now. Yeah. So what started off as chaos, you don't know where if up is down, you just thrown into it. Now you have your bearings, you caught your breath, you're above the water, you can see things. And now you realize, oh, it wasn't as hard as I thought, or it was difficult, but it wasn't impossible. And now I'm at the point where I'm above the water. I can see I'm in the water. Sometimes arms get tired. I'm like, and I get,
yeah.
But you fight back. Like you have to be on your own in general, whether it's freelance, being an investor, a business starter, a business owner, whatever, you have to have fight in you. Like you have to,
because it's lonely. Yeah.
It's lonely as hell. No one's gonna. I don't care if you're a fan. You could live with people. It's still lonely. Like
still lonely. Yeah.
You have to be like, I'm going to fight tooth and nail to not drown. It's kind of like that Eric Thomas thing. Like you gotta want it as bad as you want to breathe. Now I know what he means by that. Like I get what he means by you have to want it as bad as you want to breathe. Like those months when I was like, I don't know how much the rent's gonna get paid or how the rent's gonna get paid. I'd be like, it's gonna get paid because it has to get paid. So I'm just gonna sit back and not even stress about it. And people will think I'm crazy as hell for that. But it's like,
but
and obviously I'm not, I've got my bearings now, but it's like that can happen.
It still happens. It can even happen after you get your first 7 figure. commission. You know what I mean? It still happens.
Right, you damn right it can. So that's another thing. Learn money. Learn how to not just how
Be
to
in the
make
flow of it. Mm-hmm.
Learn how to make your work for you. Learn how to make your money work for you. Like, again, this isn't hard stuff. Like, you can get difficult with it if you want to go in depth on how to start a business or how to invest or how to do, you can get in depth on crypto, or you can be like me. Look, I'm an artist. I don't know nothing about tech. I know a little bit about tech, but I know about tech, but I don't know about coding. So I'm going to go into it from the angle of an artist. And I understand it to the extent that I need to understand it, and it serves me. That's another thing. You don't got to be a master at everything. You don't have to be proficient. You don't have to have certifications, and you don't need to go to a $10,000 2-week boot camp who promises to get you a $70,000 job or your money back. Like, don't fall garbage. Like, anybody who's let me tell people this, because I fell into this. Anybody who is selling you any kind of result, any kind of get rich quick or get this result guaranteed, you are the get rich quick scheme. The person buying that course are their get rich quick scheme.
Yep.
You're how they got rich.
I see it all the time on social media, and they'll be like,
rampant. It's rampant. I'm
gonna let y'all live, but I see it. It
used to be big, like in certain spaces, like you would see it here and there, mostly like around the business and
everywhere now.
Everybody's selling a course. Everybody's got a class to buy. Like and I know everybody ain't got something to teach. So
that part,
somebody wrong. Like, and if the advice is anything like the advice that I've personally looked up and tried to find, and because in the art world, it ain't much advice for anything.
Yeah.
So you don't run into pretty much everything you can. You're gonna start hearing stuff twice.
Yeah.
And you'll just hit to a point where you're like, I just gotta figure it out for myself, because all of this has proven to be wrong. It hasn't worked out for me. I gotta figure out my own way. And then you just realize all the advice was bullshit anyway. So it was really
that part for real. That's some heavy fruit right there.
Don't waste your money on stuff. Please you're better off spending your money on supplies that you can use that'll make you money. Like things like, and I told a guy recently, dude, get you an iPad, get you an Apple Pencil, $10, buy Procreate. You have everything you need to do digital art. You do not need to spend $2,000, $1,500 on a Wacom tablet, $500 on a computer monitor.
Just the hype. Yeah.
Just get an iPad with a pencil and a $10 program called Procreate. He hit me up just recently, a couple days ago. Bro, I bought that iPad. I'm about to get Procreate. I'm taking the steps.
Beautiful.
He's on the page, and he can draw too. He's actually a good artist.
Beautiful.
He just wants to draw more digitally, and he draws on a tablet, but it takes too long. And I'm like, get an iPad. It's faster.
Yeah.
He's gonna make it. He's gonna make it. I can already tell.
I really love this whole conversation because I have a 10-year-old niece, and she has a lazy eye, and she's heavily into art. And I was so happy when, my brother bought her easel, her canvas and everything, and invested and brought her to art classes, and just seeing some of the work she brings home. And I keep all their art. I didn't care. I was that auntie. I'm like, I don't care, because I'm already I know she's not at that space yet to realize girl, you have a lazy eye and you're able to draw this to this skill level. To me, that's amazing. To me, those are the things that help me to invest in art or dive more into someone's story and be like, wow, this is the way you see the world. Similar to even how I look at your work and I'm like, this is how you see your world, or a part of it, and be able to connect with that experience in our own individual ways. This has been such an amazing conversation, Bryson. I do want to ask you, let everyone know where they can find you, support you, get in contact with you. You're such a dope, amazing person. Also, we are normalizing here, before you get into that, how you prefer to be approached.
Yeah. So Instagram, Art of Bryson. You can find everything there. There's a link tree in there that has a link to everything you'll need. Oracle of the Hood. What you want, NFTs, what you want to buy. You want to buy some merch, I got that. There's my contact form there. So you just go to my Instagram, Art of Bryson, Bryson. And that link tree has everything as my contact form, my website link, my NFTs, my shop, my Oracle the Hood deck that you can buy, everything. And you see my art.
Yes, you do. I want to say thank you so much, Bryson, for joining us today and wasting no time with negativity. I am beyond grateful to have had this conversation because, as I said, I've been talking about NFTs and things like that, but being able to find reputable people in the space to be like, okay, this is someone you could really like listen to what they have to say and they know what they're talking about is awesome.
I'll tell you, I'll be the first to tell you, I did not know how it would go for me with the NFT thing. I didn't know if it would work. I thought it would be a bust.
Yeah.
Out like it has proof of concept now for me, and now I'm a believer of NFTs. I've been made a believer. Get into it. If you're a digital artist, if you're a traditional artist and you make prints and you have digital versions of your work, think about, just at least strongly consider it. Do not be one of the, okay, my last word of advice. Don't be one of these people out here talking about, NFTs, I don't know, that's dumb.
I'm so aggravated when I hear that.
You got 12-year-olds out here making more money than you'll make in a lifetime talking about that's dumb. No, sir. Oh, it's money laundering. No, it's not. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. Please just do some research. And you know what? Try it. Sell one NFT. And you know what? Sell it for more than you think it'll sell for and watch it sell and you be made a believer.
Exactly.
You're like, this ain't no way in hell someone gonna buy this. Oh my God, someone bought it.
I love that. No, like even going through yours and just seeing like everything sold. I'm like, yes, king.
Come on now. Thank you, sis. I appreciate that. And I really appreciate you. This was a dope interview. You're super dope. I will say that this is my first official interview, like where it's like a thorough, long form interview. That's not for like a job or something. So
I do not take that for granted. Thank you.
This will be the first interview people will see from me before I had blown up as an artist and became a multi-million-dollar household name, as I'm working towards.
Yes.
Maybe we'll interview again.
Oh no, this will not be the last time we speak as long as you prohibit.
We should interview again. I don't know when, but like the next time we interview, I can guarantee you I'm going to be in a different place. I'm going to be in a different place for sure. And that's guaranteed. You're going to be in a different place too.
Wow. Thank you. I'm speechless.
Watch your platform blow up and you got you got your whole little podcast studio with the nice lighting and, you got all this stuff going on. And, I'm just like, oh, you can start to bring guests in and stuff like that. It's going to go big.
No, I truly, thank you. Thank you. Guys, you have to let us know how you feel in the comment section. My palms are sweaty. I get excited when I have great conversations. I'm not going to fret for nobody, this is the real. So when I'm excited, when it's good, my palms get all sweaty. So I really want to say thank you so much again, Bryson Williams. You guys can follow him, Art of Bryson, Instagram, and everything literally is laid out. He's laid it out so smooth, clean, easy for you. You have no excuse as to why you can't not connect with Bryson.
I DMs too. You can DM a brother. I answer all my DMs.
And I love that. I feel like nobody should be above those things if you're really,
I reply to all comments. I answer all DMs. I'm not unapproachable. I'm not one of these, I'm too good for you. I don't, no. What the fuck? Talk to everybody, man. You never know who you're talking to.
Exactly. So I want to thank you once again for not wasting any time with negativity, eating fruit, minding your business, and sharing just, thank you. And sharing just more of yourself with us, because like you said, it's not like you really put yourself out there. So I was really excited to get to know you more and the person behind all this beautiful art that you're creating and putting out there. You guys make sure to share, subscribe, tap in with Bryson. You will not be disappointed. And I'm gonna get my bag up so I can get all the things. All the things.
Everybody come on.
All the things,
Downtown Kay.
Downtown.